Hello there. So in this video, we are basically going to be looking at a very interesting defense, and that is the defense of superior order, or also known as obedience to orders. So we are going to basically lay down the principles governing this defense, and we'll also discuss with you the general rule of this defense and the exceptions to that general rule. And of course, I'll share with you two interesting cases that will illustrate the rule in play, or at least the principles that generally govern this defense. So let's start right away. Now, you have probably heard about the defense of superior orders or obedience to orders, and it's very common, especially, for example, in Uganda, where you find police officers or military personnel normally saying orders from above. Okay, it's normally a very common terminology that is used. So what in essence they're trying to say is that their bosses have given them orders and they're just trying to implement those orders. Also indirectly, they're trying to say that they are not liable for their actions because they are simply following orders of their superiors. So in this class, we want to evaluate and analyze and also discuss the principles governing this defense. So assuming a security personnel has been charged for a certain offense, can they raise this defense? The answer is yes, they can, but it's also important to know the circumstances where this defense will be successful and where it will not be successful. It's also important to note that obedience to orders is actually a duty. Okay, so it's a duty for you to obey orders, especially in security circles. And if you obey orders in a way, it actually negates or takes away the mens rea, which is the guilty mind. Because you see, you're just following orders. So if you're following orders, that also partly means that you do not have the guilty mind, which is a key element for someone to be liable for committing a crime. So in essence, you're trying to say that, look, my mind is not guilty because I was simply following orders. But what does the law actually say about that? Now, it's important to note that the general rule governing this defense of superior orders, or also known as obedience to orders, actually is, as a general rule, a person cannot be held liable for following obedient orders, okay? Rather for following orders from their superior. So as a general rule, a person is not criminally responsible for an act or omission in obedience to an order from their superior, which he is bound by law to obey, unless, of course, the order is manifestly unlawful. So it's important to note that, as a general rule, a person who raises this defense of superior orders cannot be held liable for actions that they have committed in following such an order, but only if such orders are lawful. It's very, very important to note. So meaning that the exception is a person can be held liable for their actions or omissions where the orders they have actually followed are unlawful. So police officers, security personnel, and all other people in the various security apparatuses, it's important to note that you will be held liable for your actions, okay, or omissions in response to following orders. If those orders that you're following are unlawful, then you will be held liable. But if the orders are lawful, then you cannot be held liable for your actions or commissions. So basically, that's the general rule, and the exception being the legality of the orders. I'll share with you the position of the law under Ugandan case law, and there's an interesting case of Uganda versus Kadiri of one another. It's a case of 1983, High Court Bullet, page 27, and in that case, court went on to hold that only lawful orders of superior officers must be obeyed by inferior officers. So it's only lawful orders. If the orders are unlawful, then of course inferior officers cannot and are not obligated to follow such unlawful orders. Also, a servant would not be held liable if he committed a crime in obedience of a lawful order from his master. So that is the position of the law, and that is the principle governing the defense of superior orders. However, it's also important to note that this principle is actually followed by another one, and they have to be looked at together. I interest you to look at the case of Magwa versus Uganda. It's a case of 1965, reported in East Africa, page 667. And basically, in that case, court stated that where an order is plainly unlawful, a person cannot shelter behind it to escape criminal responsibility. So if the order given to you, an order given by a superior officer to an inferior officer is unlawful, you cannot shelter behind such an order to take away criminal responsibility. Courts will still find you liable, and we shall charge you under the criminal justice system. So basically, those are the two principles governing the order, or rather the defense of superior orders or obedience to orders. So basically, that was it for today's class. Once again, if you are not subscribed to my channel, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Just below on your screen, there is a red button on the lower hand side. Just click on it. Also turn on your notifications so that every time I release videos, this is brought to your attention. Also share and like this video in case you found the content helpful. And also, of course, students interested in private law tutorial sessions, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contacts are down in the description box. These private tutorial sessions really work. They have really helped a number of students who are on our program to improve their grades. Just contact us and we'll make a private arrangements with the experts. Grades really matter, and it's very important that you ensure that you have good grades from, especially from the younger foundation. So please ensure that you have good grades. They really matter in getting you a good job and also making you a better legal practitioner. Thank you very much. We'll meet in another class. Bye-bye.